These things are a brilliant source of soft directional light. You can use them for all sorts of photography, such as still lifes or portraits or whatever. I'm going to hopefully demonstrate both to you in a minute. But what makes this great soft directional light? This light is soft because there's no sun coming in through the window. If there was, then it wouldn't be soft at all. It would be really, really harsh. There'd be, you know, highlights on the wall here, a sort of window-shaped highlight going on here, and it would be much, much too bright in the bright area compared to the darker areas where the highlight wasn't for your camera to record it. It'll be right outside of its range. A window that faces north or a window on a cloudy day, just so long as you haven't got sunlight coming through it, you've got great soft directional light. It's directional because it is all coming this way. There's nothing coming from above or the sides or below. And speaking of above, if you're going to use some window light, don't turn the interior lights on because they're probably going to be a different colour to the daylight. If I switch those on, things will start going yellow. Just work with the window light for the time being. Why is directional light so good? Well, it's because it brings out shapes and contours. So for example, right now, this light coming in on me is what you'd really call male lighting. This side of my face is quite bright, this side is a lot darker. Now for a bloke, us rough craggy trouser wearers, that's not too bad because it actually brings out some sort of wrinkles and things like that. If you're photographing a woman, if she had a few wrinkles, if she was my age, it's not going to look at all flattering. But if you do a shot like that with someone who's a lot younger with a much smoother complexion, it can look absolutely brilliant. But first off, let's just take a really, really simple kind of a still life, a little kitcheny interior. We're actually at Tasha's house and I'm going to call her in a minute. And I wanted to shoot it here because, you know, it's a nice little house in a terrace. This is obviously much easier if you're in a great big open plan space with floor to ceiling windows because you've got tons of light coming in and you can move yourself around better and get further away from your subject. Anyway, I'll just set up a little shot here. Kitchen utensils and a thing of tea. I've got my camera ready to go over there. The directional light, this light blowing in from the side like this across, is really picking out the texture of the word utensils that's engraved into this wooden tub thing. So you can see there are shadows and highlights going on in here, and it's those shadows and highlights that make it kind of really stand out to bring out that texture. And this is why directional light's so good. If the light was coming straight in from the front, it would probably lose a lot of its shape. Let's just have a little go. If I turn it towards the window, are you seeing that, Janie? Is that softening out and not?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's put it back in there so it's sideways onto the light. It's really bringing that out. I'm just going to shoot a little still life thing of that. Now, we're indoors, so this could be a great place to do something on a rainy day. You're thinking, oh, I'd love to go for a hike on the hills, but you can't because it's pouring with rain and you're being a blouse. So you could do something like this indoors because it doesn't matter if it's a bit dark. This is about the quality of the light, not the quantity. By that I mean you can always use a very, very slow shutter speed. Now I've already got this shot set up because you obviously don't need to watch me do it. Let's just get the camera focused. So I'm just moving my autofocus point onto the word utensils. There we go, a little beep, camera's focused. I'm using 200 ISO, so it's a very, very fine grain. But because I'm using 200 ISO for the best quality and the finest colours and the finest grain, my shutter speed is right down to 1/10 of a second. I'm using a 70mm lens. I'm going to get a blurred picture if I try and hand hold that. So on the tripod, excuse me, big sturdy tripod. Best to use the self timer. I know how sturdy my tripod is, so I'm just going to take the picture. You can see straight away that there's a shadow going on. It's a soft sort of a shadow and it's bringing out the textures and shapes of those utensils, and it's kind of putting a highlight on the front of the tea packet and a darker side too. You can see it in reality over here. See, we've got this brighter area here, but this side's a bit darker, and it's that soft directional light which works so well. Let's have a little play and see if we can shoot a bit of a portrait. I think I really like the idea of juxtaposing the sort of, I like these tiles, I like this shape. It's a great frame to put someone into. And I also think it'd be quite nice, those hard edges sort of against the softness of a person. In this case, that person is a Tasha. Tasha!
Yeah.
Tasha, thank you. Bless your heart. The most long-suffering stepdaughter in the world, aren't you? Yeah. So, we're going to do a shot with Tash there. Now you can see what I mean about the light. I'm going over this side because I'm blocking it if I stand over there. Go that way a little, Tash. That's it. About there, perfect. You see how the light is blowing across Tash's face? We've got a bright side and a dark side, and it's all coming from that window. Because Tash is young, it still kind of works for her, and it would work well. Just turn your face towards the window a bit. There we go, and it's put highlights on her cheeks and things like that. And it's a very nice look. Let me just shoot my portrait. As I say, I want to get a little bit edgy with it. I'm using the tripod. I'm using the lovely naked window light, as Mr. Oliver would say in his cookery programmes. And he'd be talking about a bit of olive oil or something, a bit pansy-ish. Right, let's have a look. Let's just kind of zoom the lens back a bit. I'm still using aperture priority. As I said, I want to get a little bit more edgy with this. I want to put Tasha at the bottom of the picture rather than the top, so we can really use the shapes going on behind her. Yeah, Tash, go that way, only about an inch. Puff, woo, too much, sorry, there, perfect. I like that, yeah, that's cool. Lock the tripod, composition sorted, autofocus on her eye, there we go. That's really cool. I've gone a little bit too high, I'm cutting the ends of her hair off. There it is, got it. So I'm going to do one of those, just kind of staring straight into the camera. That's pretty cool. I quite like that. I like the shape. Tash, do one looking out the window. Just kind of look that way. Turn your head a little more. There we go. Because it's sort of put highlights and shapes onto her face. Come back to me again. Put your chin down a little. You see, you can kind of play with this stuff. Turn your face towards the window a bit. That's better. That's quite nice. Now, I was saying that if you were doing this with someone who's a little bit older, you may need to soften the light on this side of her face. To do that, you're going to need a reflector. Sorry, I'm going to squeeze past and now squeeze back. Right, there we go. Jane's pinned against the wall. Can you see what's going on? So look, when I bring in the reflector onto Tasha's face, you need to be over there.
The kitchen's not big enough, Tasha.
When I bring the reflector onto Tasha's face, watch. Just look at the camera, Nat. As I bring that in here, you see how it's just kind of lifting that. And it's probably a nicer look. It depends whether you want moody, which is sort of going to work, you know, with the shadow, or whether you want something a little bit of a more softer sort of a look. Just by bringing in a reflector. So how would you do that? Well, you just prop it up over here somewhere. That should work. It might even work just doing that. Look at me, Tash. It's not. Oh, it nearly works. Oh, it's going to try and roll in the sink. No, it's going to roll in the sink. Okay, so we just need to prop it up. I'm going to prop it up with my tripod. Now, I'm very unlikely to be able to take this shot handheld and have it sharp because the shutter speed is so low. So I'm going to have to push the ISO way, way, way up. Let me just show you. Take the shot. So I'm just packing the tripod down so it's smaller. There we go. Stand it on Tasha's worktop, about there, and then just lean the tripod, the reflector against it, like that. That works. That works. Okay, to make up for the lack of tripod, I'm just going to boost up the ISO. I'm going to go quite high. I'm going to go to 1000 because then it's going to give me a bit more of a shutter speed and I've got more chance of holding it still. But it might be just a little tiddly bit fuzzy. Forgive me if it is. Focus on Tasha. Get it down the bottom there. That's nice. Tasha, you look as though I'm about to attack you. Sorry, relax. Just let your shoulders relax. You don't have to be smiley. Just kind of cool. Got it. You can see when you flick between the two how it's just kind of altered the way the light is.